Hey guys, so this is the second video for the day. I didn't want to put this one on the first one because this one might get pretty lengthy, but this one is the Rapture one that I wanted to talk about. And I'm going to start off actually reading several scriptures that I think are related to the Rapture for sure. There is a certain implication, and you can read it in its context, and see if it makes sense, see if in any way you believe or you let God lead you into understanding how these connect with the rapture. So I'm going to go ahead and read them, and it's going to be kind of quick because I want to go ahead and read it and then get to the other content of this video. So the first one is 1 Thessalonians 4:16, and it says, "For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first." Then we have 1 Thessalonians 4:17. "Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord." 1 Corinthians 15:52. "In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed." Luke 12:40. "Be ye therefore ready also, for the Son of Man cometh at an hour when ye think not." Titus 2:13. "Looking for that blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great God and our Savior Jesus Christ." Daniel 12:1 and 2. "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, and some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt." And lastly, Revelation 3:10. "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth." So, with that being said, with those scriptures, and there are plenty of others too, the rapture isn't something that is just man-made, and you can go through the whole history of it, but there are types and shadows as well in the Bible and the Old Testament. In particular, you take Noah's Ark, and God shut the door when that happened. You go with Elijah and Elisha. He was raptured up, and I believe Enoch was too. I mean, there are examples. There are types and shadows even within the stories. Say with Isaac, and when Rebecca was brought to him as his bride to get betrothed. Like, there's a lot. So it's not a man-made concept at all, despite what a lot of people say. That being said, those are several scriptures that I just read, but there are many, many others as well. And as far as my personal revelation, I think I mentioned before in a video that I said the first one that I can recall, the first dream of the rapture that I can recall, was when I was about 9 years old. I think I was 9. I couldn't have been no older than 10, but I'm pretty sure it was 9. And like periodically throughout my life, there have been like seasons where it kind of would come on heavy. And this last time, it's been within these past few years, with 19, with 20, and with this year in 2021. Now, these dreams that I'm about to talk about, actually, I had these on, well, one was Friday, the 24th, 9/24/21, and then the other was Saturday, 9/25/21. And let me just go right in, and I actually did write these down because I didn't want to forget about them, and that's one thing I told myself that I needed to make sure I do every time I have a dream of note, is to just write it down, and you can refer to it later for any reason. And so this was actually one of the longest established like rapture dreams I had. Like, usually they were always fairly quick, like within the dream, if we're talking about them in the real world. Like, something would happen, and whether it's a celestial sign of some sort, with the stars, with the moon in particular, with planets, an apparent sign in the sky is kind of always the preceding thing, and then it's like a knowing, like right away, and then there's a warning. Like, that's the thing in every single one of these dreams I've had. I have tried to reach out to somebody, and I remember in this dream in particular, when I seen what was going on, I was trying to go on Facebook Live, because I'm like, that will probably be the quickest way to tell anybody. Like, if you're not seeing what's happening in the sky, I remember seeing like clouds that looked like ships. Like, it sounds crazy. Like, it was clouds that looked like ships. Like they were collecting people. There was like water coming from the firmament above and from below too, like taking people up. There were like invisible looking ships as well. Like, kind of reminded me of like Wonder Woman's invisible jet or something like that. Like, it was like looked like a ship, a giant ship, that was taking people up too, but it was blending in with the clouds, and it was like shocking. Like, it's something like you would see in a movie, but it was very real in the dream. And I remember trying to reach out to people through Facebook, but it wouldn't work. Like, my phone wouldn't work, and I was like, I kept trying, and eventually I was like, it felt like I needed to just go. And this is kind of funny, but it was like somebody I know, personally, was like, I think if we're standing outside, it'd be easier to go up. And so that's what they did. And it's so funny because that's something that they would really say in real life, like that concept. But that's what happened in the dream as well. And so back to like when I was trying to get online and tell people, I felt like it was just time to go. So I'm jumping out my window, like I'm like, hey, I'm about to miss this ride. And I jumped out, and I was floating for a second, and then I started flying up. And it was man, it was a crazy dream, but it was vivid. It was like every element of every Rapture dream that I've ever had was in that dream. So like all the things going on in the sky, plus things that I had never seen before, like the water. That's something completely new. I can't recall that being in any of the dreams I've had before. Again, it was like water was coming from above and from below, almost like like water was coming from above, and it was like swooping people forward, upwards. And so again, that was the first time I seen it, but it looked amazing in the dream. Again, like something from a movie. And all these other elements were playing out too, with just kind of chaos around going on the earth, people vanishing, seeing people going up, and I'm seeing people kind of like the reaction that I expect people to have, where it's just like, shocked, like what do you even say? And then the people who, there was interesting because there was a church van I remember seeing, and that church van was dropping people off, but it was like some of the people left and some stayed. And if I took anything from that, I was like, that likely is going to be the case with a lot of people who are claiming to be churchy, claiming to be Christian and title only or whatever. But there's a difference when you believe something in your heart and profess it, versus you just kind of go with emotion. You accept the title, but that's about as far as you go. Or even claim to believe, but you really don't. Like, it's like, oh, it might be the case that Jesus might be true, but you have reservations in your heart that you don't really believe in that. And so I think that's what that represented with the church people, with some of them going and some of them staying. So that's kind of the quickest rundown version I can give on that first dream. And let me find the second dream. Was, again, it was the next day. And yeah, so this one was a lot quicker, but I remember this was the first time too in having these Rapture dreams. There was like a golden angel like flying around, like in a way kind of giving people a high five or like a ticket, and like saying, okay, you can go, and I remember like seeing this thing, like this thing is moving quick, and then I remember like seeing it come towards my way. And by instinct, I just raised my hand up like I'm giving a high five, and boom, like I hit his hand, and I was, out of there. I was shot up. Yeah, and this is, man, like in every dream that I've had, again, it's always proceeded with something in the sky, something really noticeable, where like you would think the whole planet could see. Like you see a second moon, it's like, who wouldn't see that? Or 2 or 3 moons, or some planet that's kind of in the distance, but noticeable. Kind of like if you've seen that conjunction with Saturn and Jupiter, if you had a telescope, you can see it really well. it's kind of like that. Like you see these big celestial objects. And again, I don't know what they really are. If they're extra moons, if they're stars, if they're planets, but they're giant celestial objects that are very obvious, and it always has that in these dreams. And it's an automatic knowing of this is what's going on. You just know what's going on, and then that's followed by let me tell as many people as I can. Like that's the running thing in every single one of these. And then something happens where either, by some means I'm taken up along with many other people as well, fortunately, and I believe that this is God's way of assuring me, and I tell everyone just pray about things too, because I would pray about it if I wasn't sure. But in all of the dreams I have gone up, and I give that that like honor to God, that I believe that's Him reassuring me, like you're in good standing. And the gospel is always going to be on the videos I put up. That's 1 Corinthians 15 1 through 4. And so I wanted to share those. It's a little dated by a week, but there's still a lot of things going on, and I'm impressed to believe that this going on at La Palma, with the within the Canary Islands. It's kind of like maybe double speak in a sense of the canary in a cave or the canary in a coal mine. How those work is when there's trouble, the canary will die first, but serving as a warning to the miners, like it's time to go, it's time to get out of here. And so yeah, I'm glad I wanted to share this. This video was way longer than I thought it was going to be, but again, I will pray for anybody, and I would encourage you to pray for discernment as well. And just like, I don't think you can look around on earth right now and just think, things are normal or they're going to go back to normal. There's so many things going on, and you read Matthew 24, 23. I mean, anything in the New Testament, or just search end time scriptures, and it's all there. You'll start seeing it. So I'm going to end this video right here. Again, hope you stay safe, stay blessed, and just keep on pushing.